You are about to confront something that does not fit. Not into our models, not into our textbooks, not into any framework humanity has ever constructed for understanding the cosmos. What if everything you believed about our solitude in the universe, the comforting assumption that silence means safety, was never a conclusion at all, but simply the limit of how far we had listened? Because 45 years ago, we launched a machine the size of a small car into the dark. And something out there just answered it. Voyager 1 crossed into interstellar space in 2012, confirmed by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory using data from its plasma wave science instrument. It now sits approximately 163 astronomical units from the Sun, over 24 billion kilometers away, traveling at roughly 17 kilometers per second into a region no human instrument had ever entered. Its power source, a plutonium-238 radioisotope thermoelectric generator, loses about 4 watts of power every year. Its onboard memory holds less data than a single photograph on your phone. By every rational engineering standard, Voyager 1 should be a ghost. Instead, it is a witness, and what it has witnessed forces us to confront the possibility that we are not alone, and that whatever shares this galaxy with us has been far more aware of us than we ever were of it. The anomaly did not arrive suddenly. That is the unsettling part. It built, slowly, across decades, in data that engineers repeatedly dismissed as instrument noise or model error. Go back to 1979. Voyager's Jupiter flyby produced storms the size of continents, lightning strikes 10 times more powerful than Earth's most violent bolts, and volcanic eruptions on Io launching plumes 300 kilometers into space. These were expected to be dramatic. What was not expected were subtle electromagnetic pulses detected inside Jupiter's magnetosphere, rhythmic, faintly structured, not correlated with the planet's rotation or any predicted plasma behavior. Scientists filed them as anomalies. They moved on. Think about that decision now, from where we stand, because those archived transmissions are being reanalyzed today. Not because anyone has proven a connection. Because after what Voyager detected in interstellar space, the pattern of unexplained structured signals attached to this spacecraft's history has become impossible to ignore. This is not the first strange data point. It is the most recent in a sequence that stretches back 45 years. And we are still only examining the earliest telemetry. Vast portions of the full dataset have not yet been subjected to modern signal processing. Saturn was Voyager's last planetary encounter before the long silence swallowed it. The 1980 flyby revealed gravitational wave structures inside the rings, Titan's smog-shrouded surface hiding a landscape of liquid methane lakes, and magnetic interactions that defied several standing theoretical models. Then the sun grew dimmer. The signal delay stretched to hours. The solar wind thinned. And Voyager crossed from the familiar geometry of the inner solar system into something no map had ever charted. Voyager 2's subsequent passes of Uranus and Neptune, encounters that Voyager 1 never made, deepen the picture of a universe that operates at extremes we do not find comfortable. Neptune's winds exceed 2,100 kilometers per hour. Triton erupts nitrogen geysers into a near vacuum. Beneath the surface of both ice giants, pressures so immense that carbon compresses into crystalline form, diamond sinking slowly through mantles of superheated ice. These are not edge cases. These are what the universe considers normal. If diamond rain is ordinary, ask yourself what extraordinary looks like out here. The heliosphere, the enormous magnetized bubble inflated by the solar wind that shields every planet, every moon, and every spacecraft inside it, was theorized long before Voyager proved its existence. What was not theorized with any accuracy was its boundary. The heliopause, the razor-thin region where solar wind pressure equals interstellar pressure, behaved nothing like the models promised. Voyager did not glide through a gradual transition. It crossed a shock front, a collision zone where two plasma environments slammed together, creating waves of pressure, magnetic reversals, and density fluctuations that oscillating sensors could barely track. The terrifying part is not that the boundary was violent. It is that the plasma on the interstellar side was organized. Structured. The plasma wave instrument, designed in the 1970s, still functioning, detected oscillations that formed harmonic patterns, repeating across intervals of months, then years. Natural turbulence does not do this. Random interstellar plasma does not do this. Harmonics require a source, a repeating mechanism, something that sustains a frequency. NASA's published interpretation was cautious. Unexpected plasma behavior consistent with an unanticipated density gradient. That explanation held until the new signal arrived. Now those harmonic records sit at the center of a very different conversation. In 2023, Voyager 1 transmitted corrupted data, garbled position and orientation information from its flight data system computer, the component responsible for packaging telemetry before broadcast. Engineers at JPL worked for months to diagnose the issue without being able to physically touch the spacecraft. The solution they found required reactivating memory that had been dormant for decades. What they also found, buried in the recovered data streams from that period, were signal components that did not originate from Voyager's own systems. The signal was structured, layered. It arrived in synchrony with Voyager's own transmission windows, not randomly, but timed to the spacecraft's established communication rhythm. It contained repeating pulse segments separated by precise, predictable silences. Engineers at the Deep Space Network ran full interference diagnostics. Every terrestrial source was eliminated. Every known astrophysical source, pulsars, magnetars, solar radio bursts, was checked against the signal's frequency profile. None matched. What matched, structurally, was a compressed data packet. Not language. Not mathematics in any recognizable form. But architecture. The kind of organized internal structure that implies a sender with intent. NASA did not publish these findings in the form the internal analysis took. What leaked through the Deep Space Network community was enough to draw the attention of independent researchers and, quietly, several institutions whose interest in anomalous signal detection predates this event by decades. Now here is where the unease deepens beyond what most people are prepared for. The terrifying part is not that a signal was detected near Voyager. It is that when NASA deliberately altered its transmission patterns to attempt reproduction of the contact, the signal stopped. It returned only when Voyager resumed its ordinary, consistent timing. Whatever produced that signal was not responding to NASA's experiments. It was responding to Voyager's routine. It had learned the heartbeat of the spacecraft, not the content of the messages, but the rhythm of their existence. Something out there distinguished between experiment and behavior. That distinction is not a property of plasma. Doppler analysis of subtle frequency shifts in the signal revealed a secondary finding that the mission team has declined to characterize publicly. The source was moving, not drifting, not tumbling in the gravitational influence of a distant body. Moving with coordinated, smooth, accelerating repositioning, the signature of a controlled maneuver. With each detected positional shift, Voyager's own magnetometer recorded corresponding local field distortions. The magnetic profile of the surrounding interstellar medium changed in response to the object's movement. The object was large enough, or energetic enough, to leave a magnetic wake in the plasma it moved through. We have never observed anything with that combination of properties. Not, naturally, not in any catalog. Voyager 1, launched September 5, 1977, carrying a golden record encoded with greetings in 55 languages, diagrams of the human form, and the sound of a mother's first words to her newborn child, has become something its designers never imagined. Not a messenger. A contact point. The spacecraft that Carl Sagan described as a bottle thrown into the cosmic ocean has been found. And whatever found it has read the label. The beauty of that image, the golden record, the pale blue dot, humanity's fragile optimism pressed into metal and flung into the dark, does not survive full understanding. Because the same qualities that made Voyager a symbol of our best impulses also made it a beacon. Its consistent timing. Its predictable rhythm. Its patient, faithful signal pulsing back toward Earth across 24 billion kilometers. Every quality we celebrate about Voyager's endurance is precisely the quality that made it identifiable. Made it trackable. Made it worth responding to. We sent a signal into the dark for 45 years. We celebrated that it kept transmitting. We never seriously prepared for the moment it stopped being the only one talking. Whatever is out there has shown no aggression. Nor suggestion. It watches. It responds selectively. It moves with precision in an environment where nothing we built could survive a week. It has been there, or passed through there, in the space between the stars, operating without heat signature, without exhaust, without any propulsion footprint we can classify. It predates our observation of it by an unknown duration. It may have been there long before we launched our first rocket, and Voyager, aging, quiet, technically dying, is the only instrument humanity has ever placed close enough to hear it. If you feel the weight of that, you are processing it correctly. This is not a discovery that enlarges our confidence. It is one that exposes the precision of our ignorance. We mapped the solar system. We named the planets. We calculated the heliopause to within tolerable margins. And in the space just beyond all of that, something waited, patiently, silently, for us to arrive at the edge of our reach. Subscribe, because every new transmission from Voyager could be the one that changes everything. And in the comments, tell us, do you think what responded to Voyager has been watching us for centuries, or did we only become interesting the moment we crossed into its domain?